Tails. What up, everybody? Motherfuckers and motherfuckerettes. Yeah, this may sound familiar to you. Little bit from Cursory Overload, Pato's Powerhouse. Yeah, well, this is the first ever episode of H.O.T. podcast, Hot Podcast, Pato's Hot Podcast. And I didn't name it Pato's Hot Podcast just to say Pato's Hot. I mean, we all know that's evident and it's fact and it's 100% okay bullshit. But anyway, what I'm saying is H.O.T. heads or tails. And the idea of this podcast is we're going to start tossing a coin. If it's heads, we'll do a challenge. If it's tails, we'll start with a story. Today, luckily enough, for the first ever episode, it was tails, which allows me to introduce myself if you've never heard of me. If you've heard of me, well, then you know how silly and stupid and all the cool things Pato can be. Anyway, gosh, man. So anyway, what I'm saying, if I'm saying anything, is I figured I'd take a little time to introduce myself here. Pato. How did I get the nickname Pato? I got the nickname Pato about 15 years ago at a place I was working. I was working with this motherfucker that was just giving me shit, and I would just never let it bother me. I would, sure, it pissed me off, but I never allowed that motherfucker to see it. I would just continue, go about my business, and make my money, go home. But people around me, some of my friends, co-workers, their friends were looking, and they were like, gosh, man, why haven't you punched this motherfucker in his throat already? And I was like, well, I really don't give a fuck what he has to say. I mean, he's no one in my eyes. He's no one. I mean, so basically anything that's coming out of his mouth is just blah, blah, blah. It doesn't affect me one way or another. So that was that. And motherfucker was like, God damn it. You're like a freaking duck. Water just rolls off your back. In fact, we're going to start calling you Duck. So at the place where I was working, we used radio, so all night long they were calling me over the radio, Duck, 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 Duck. And that went on for about a week till some of my Caucasian friends come to the decision that, well, Pato is Latino, so we're going to start calling him, or basically Duck is Latino, we're going to start calling him Mr. Pato. And even the Mr. part went away after a week. After a while, it just went to Pato. To tell you that no respect, motherfuckers. So that was it. That's how I got my nickname Pato. And I'll go into another segment. I'll tell you how it became Morningstar. All right, so let's get into the part of how it became Pato Morningstar. Originally, when I started podcasting with K-Dog, I didn't want to be behind the microphones because, well, I was very religious. I mean, I was a Christian rapper at one point in time. So if that ever comes up, if let's say anybody ever tries to rag on me of why I talk so much shit, if I was a Jesus Bible thumping rapper at one point in time, look, I'm going to 8 Mile this motherfucker right now. I'm going to tell you everything that there is to know about me. I mean, before you try to play Clarence, okay? So, what I'm saying, if I'm saying anything, is that, I was still a little conscious. This is 2017, December. My dad had just passed away, in September of 2017. So that's one of the reasons why I even started podcasting. I went along with my friend because it was therapeutic for me. It was something to get me off, get my dad off. Not that I get him off my mind, but it helped me deal with what I was going through at the time. So I didn't want to be behind the microphone. So originally I was just going to be the ghostwriter for the show. So, but then as it turns out, K-Dog was a shy motherfucker and just couldn't do anything on his own. So we had to like bounce off ideas. So next thing you know, I'm talking shit on the microphone. And I remember at first, because religious issues, it was causing issues at home too, to the point where I deleted a lot of the first episodes. And some of those first episodes were fucking funny. And especially since I had a challenge for K-Dog, to do a 15-minute show on his own and me do a 15-minute show on my own, and then combine our styles. I did mine, which eventually became Pato the Ghostwriter Show for a while, and is now Pato's Powerhouse, which I've had to revamp in order to give Cursory Overload the preference many times. But what I'm saying is, and he never did his, so we just did Cursory Overload. And in Cursory Overload, we talked all kinds of shit and all kinds of crazy stuff. So anyway, it was Pato the Ghostwriter for a while. But as time goes by, it's 2017, times have changed. For me, since 2015, 2016, after those elections and evangelicals embraced a certain figure that I'm not going to talk about right now, but y'all can guess. And I was like, wait a minute, this motherfucker is nothing like Jesus, and you guys are practically worshiping the motherfucker. What the fuck's going on? Certain things started, helped me open my eyes, and I started deconstructing my beliefs, and it's one of the best things that's ever happened. But anyway, I was having a friendly conversation with someone that, was trying to point me to the mistakes and the errors of my ways and, the blah, blah, blah. And this person who shall remain nameless, tried to tell me that, well, I can't remember. I was like, look, man, I'm just trying. I remember saying something to the effect of, I'm doing this podcast thing. I'm talking all these kinds of whatever, because, I'm just trying to, I'm dealing with the loss of my father, blah, blah, blah. And of course, this person trying to be funny decided to throw a scripture at me, John 8:4. And I'm not even going to quote it, but you can look it up if you want to. And I'm not tricking you into using the Bible. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to say it. It says, it's that Bible verse where it says, you are of your father, the devil. And you know what I'm saying? Basically, it was an attempt to be funny on that, but it gave me the idea, like, I'm like, you know what, Pato's talking shit on the mic, and you just said I'm the devil's son, so that means my last name must be Morningstar. So I'm Pato Morningstar, and I mean, it just went on from there, and hell, I've been having a lot of fun podcasting and under the moniker of Pato Morningstar. Anyway, I'll move on to another segment. So one thing you can expect from this new podcast is that it's going to be no holds bars. I'm going to talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. It can be music. It'll be politics if necessary. Not necessarily one of my favorite topics. But I mean, I live in a state where a lot of bullshit happens that, well, sometimes not so much the political aspect, but the bullshit of the characters that are, well, we'll talk about that other stuff some other time. But what I'm saying is music, politics, whatever the fuck I need to talk about. And one of the next few episodes, I'm probably going to be talking a lot about the deconstruction of my religious beliefs. Because I feel it's important. I mean, now I understand that people need to believe in something. And it's not that I don't believe. I do believe there's a higher power. I just do not believe in the way. Okay, I'm not buying the religion that was sold to us, if that makes any sense. The story that was sold to us uh, in Christianity, I'm not buying it anymore. There's too many loopholes for those who want to take advantage. There's too many, I don't know, too many things that just don't add up. And like I said, I'm not going to approach this like a theologian. And like I said, this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm doing. You do you, I'll do me. And that's one of the things that I'll be discussing, because right now, I mean, Christians always claim to be persecuted. Oh, we're going to be persecuted for his name. They don't like us. But right now, the only thing I see is evangelicals and Christians persecuting others, trying to get laws into the government to force other people into their religion. See what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll be talking about some of that stuff. And then, I don't know, might be talking random stuff. I don't know, depending on who I bump to in the streets and stuff like that. I'm going to make it a point to do crazy podcasts, crazy segments with people that I bump into in the streets. Yeah. So hopefully this time around, we're going to have a lot more fun. Not that the other podcasts aren't any good. In fact, I still love the Cursory Overload. I love Pato's Powerhouse. But, sometimes you have to bring in something new. Well, anyway, thank you for tagging along all this time. If you've been following, or if you've been with us up until this time, thank you. Like I said, this is a short one, bite-sized podcast, just to let you know the Pato's Hot Podcast is here, or Hot H.O.T. Podcast is here. And heads or tails, like I said, we'll spin the coin and go from there. Yeah, till next time, you motherfuckers stay out of trouble or don't get caught, whichever applies. Later.